There's a command made in Scripture 365 times, one for every day of the year. And that command is do not be afraid. Do not be afraid.
Sarah says, what are some good Bible verses to refer to when you're anxious?
Oh, well, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate the question very, very much. And the reality is many of us are experiencing anxiety at some level. There seems to be an epidemic of anxiety in our world today because there's a lot to be concerned about. I think it's important for all of us to realize that anxiety in and of itself is not sinful unless it carries over into worry. And the Bible keeps telling us, in fact, there are commandments in Scripture. Do not worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will have enough worry about its own. And Scripture just keeps saying that over and over and over again. But I can only speak from my experience. So when I'm feeling anxious, first of all, this is what I do. I listen to 1 Peter chapter 5, which says to me, cast all of your anxiety on him, or cast all of your cares on him because he cares for you. So for me, I have to go through an actual physical and spiritual moment where I say, God, here are all of the things that are creating anxiety inside of me, and I'm going to lay them down in front of you. I'm going to hand them from my hands into your hands. I'm going to place them at the foot of the cross. I am going to just surrender all of these things that are causing me anxiety, because what I know is this: you care for me. You care for each and everything that's causing my blood pressure to go up, that's causing my anxiety to manifest itself in my body. So 1 Peter 5, cast all of your anxiety on him. And I think this is so beautiful because it's an invitation. God is actually saying, I want you to give me your anxious thoughts. I want you to surrender that to me because I'm the only one who can fix those things or look after those things for you. And I think there's another beautiful passage that's really, really important for us. That's Philippians chapter 4, which is be anxious for nothing. Be anxious for nothing. And then it goes on and says, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, let your requests be made known to God. And so we surrender anxiety. And then we're welcomed not only in that invitation, but there's an invitation to pray through the things that are causing us anxiousness. And so it's important for us to realize that in Scripture, God keeps just saying, I want you to surrender those things. Give me your anxious thoughts. Hand them over to me and allow me to do my best work in those moments when you may be anxious or feel fearful. I believe the root of all anxiety is actually fear, because we're afraid of what may be happening. And I find this interesting correlation. It's just fascinating every time that I say it, which is there's a command made in Scripture 365 times, one for every day of the year. And that command is do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. And when you hear God say, be anxious for nothing, what he's actually saying is, look, I don't want you to be afraid. I don't want you to live in a position of fear. Because when we're living in a position of fear, we're not living in a world of trust. And God keeps saying over and over and over again, don't lean on your own understanding. Trust in me. I'm the one who's going to make your path straight. And so I love 1 Peter 5. I love Philippians chapter 4. And then I love the 365 references throughout Scripture where God just keeps saying, don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid. And the reason we're not afraid is because he's with us. That's the presence of God that's been promised to us. So we hold on to the promise of God. We hold on to the presence of God. And then we move into that place where we take him up on his invitation to lay all of those things that are worrisome and giving us anxiety in front of him. And then he cares for us, and he also carries us. So there's a few that I would go to, and I love those passages of Scripture. There's so many more, but those are kind of the anchor ones for me.
Yeah, the beautiful thing I think I see in all of them is that God gives us not just a command, but a promise too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That he doesn't just tell us what to do. He says he's with us in the middle of it too.
Yeah, always. Well, hi there. Are you struggling with life's questions? Do you have questions about Jesus, the Bible, or the Christian faith? Well, my name is Pastor Grant Fishbook, and I would be so honored to try and respond to your questions. Hey, check out the videos below, or ask your own question at our website, askjesus.net. Thank you so much for watching. We are so glad that you are here today, and we look forward to responding to your questions because your questions matter.